Hello students. Today in this video I am going to explain you about use case diagram, how to draw an use case diagram in a library management system, and what are the tools we are going to use to draw this use case diagram. First of all, uh, we draw this use case diagram in the software called StarUML, where all the tools are available. So let us see what are the tools are required to draw this use case diagram. Okay, the first tool what we are going to see here is it is actor. Okay, so there in an use case diagram you can have more than one actor, at least minimum two actor is required to explain the process, to explain the flow. Okay, so if you see here, you can see two actor. One is librarian, the other is borrower. If you see this actor, have circled in blue color. The tool is called actor. To identify that tool, I have circled in blue color. So the next tool what we are going to see is it is use case. Here for your identification, I have marked in purple color. This tool is called as use case tool. Okay, and there here you can see what are the use case tools. So for the use case tools you have to give the names like which is related to librarian. So the librarian, what it does, what are the works done by a librarian, okay, that you have to mention in the use case. If you see, a librarian will make reservation of a book and remove the reservation and lend an item or return it to the ideal place where it has been taken. Okay, and moreover that we have another work of librarian. What are the works he does in a library? He maintains all the books in a library. What are the works done by him there inside a library? He remove or update a title, and he add a title, he remove an item, he add an item, and add borrower, remove and update the borrower. So these are the work done by an librarian. Okay, he maintains all this data inside a library. The first image, if you see, the borrower and the librarian, they communicate each other. And what are the works done by the librarian? It is connected with some arrow marks. Okay, so the next tool what we are going to see is it is connector. We see have marked in blue color, where the librarian is connected to the use cases. What are the functions of a librarian? Have connected the help of the connector. You can see the arrow mark, the four arrow mark, where you can see the first is like a making reservation and reminding things, which I have explained you previously. The next tool what we can see is it is include. Okay, if you see this include tool, what is the function of this include tool is when an operation performed by a librarian is mandatory. Okay, at that time you have to use this tool called include. Okay, and if you see that include, okay, I have marked in dotted line, the dotted line pink color, that is which I have marked in green color, the dotted pink lines, it comes under include, which means the operations, if you see like remove or update a title, add title, or remove an item, add an item, and then like add borrower or remove or update borrower, these are the mandatory works performed by a librarian inside a library. It can't be optional. Okay, when you're going for an optional tool, at the time we optional work, we have another tool for that. And one more thing you can see here, when a borrower comes to a library, he has to communicate with the librarian. Okay, so So here you can see very much useful when we are telling anything is mandatory, any function is mandatory done by the librarian. Okay, so at that time you are supposed to use this include, that is the less than greater than symbol on the both side. In the middle, what kind of function is done by the actor. Okay, so if you see here, when a borrower comes to a library, it is mandatory that he has to communicate to the librarian. That's the reason I have given the word communication, the less than greater than symbol in the middle. Okay, so when any mandatory function is performed, you have to give those text in between the less than and greater than symbol. So these are the tools like actor, use case, connector, and the mandatory the include tool. Okay, the general tool, we call it as general tool, or like we call it as include tool when it is mandatory. Okay, so these are the only few tools we use there in the use case diagram. Remaining diagrams like class diagram, deployment diagram, sequence diagram, I'll explain you in the upcoming videos. Thank you.